Hello, I am Martijn Kochuijt. I am the Chief Flight Testing Engineer here at AeroDelft. So I am responsible for the qualification process of our aircraft. So that's everything from lightly involving in systems engineering and requirement forming through to the qualifications of the systems at the end through with testing campaigns. The mission of AeroDelft is to prove and promote liquid hydrogen as a sustainable alternative to conventional fuels in aviation. And the way we are doing that, as you can see around me, is we are manufacturing our own liquid hydrogen powered plane. It will first be flying on gaseous hydrogen. That is because gaseous hydrogen is slightly easier to work with than the cryogenics of liquid hydrogen. But we expect that after July next year, we'll be integrating our liquid hydrogen into the plane so that we can fly on it the year afterwards. We track the progress of our test campaign using data sets and using Marple. So we start off with our requirements and our components, and then we go through into test plans where we determine what kind of data we need to collect from our tests. We physically run the tests, and then afterwards we take the massive data that we receive during our test, and we have to somehow relate the data we get back into the requirements that we set in the first place to be able to validate that the system is working the way we expect it to. And for that we use different types of APIs from Marple, which allow us to automatically validate requirements from the data without having to manually go through it anymore, which gives us increases our efficiency in our testing campaigns. We are using different features from Marple to overview our entire test campaign. For example, we're using the overview dashboard. We are using that to visualize our data sets so that we can immediately see the test conditions that we have done, and by that extrapolate the test conditions that we haven't done. And we can immediately see if we need to do more extensive testing or if what we have is sufficient, which once again improves testing efficiency, which makes me as testing engineer very happy.
Hi, I am Seppe and I am an electronics and software engineer at AeroDelft. So at AeroDelft, data is important because we do a lot of testing, and we use the testing data to demonstrate to the flight authorities that our system is safe and it works well, so that in the end we can hopefully obtain a permit to fly and perform our test flights. Marple Insight allows us to work with high precision data because we can just take the raw data and put it into Marple, and our engineers can very easily just take the raw data, drag it into Marple, and it shows up as a beautiful graph that we can show in our reports as well. The efficiency of our workflow is improved a lot because we can do our data analysis at the same time as our testing is being performed by having people at the office do the data analysis. And this allows us to also perform a new test if necessary, as opposed to having to analyze the data manually and then having to drive back to the testing location. And it saves us a lot of time this way. With Marple Insight's reporting feature, we can easily check if we meet our requirements. So we can set a threshold for a certain value and then see if we are above or below that value, and so see if our requirement is met. We're automating these reports by automatically sending over a PDF to our flight test engineers who can review the data for quality and who can also say that we need to perform a test if necessary and check if we meet the requirements that we were looking for. In the future, we're looking to integrate Marple more by integrating the API with our requirement management software so that our test data can immediately move into the requirement management software and prove that we are meeting our requirements for the flight authorities. Marple facilitates combining test data with simulation data with Marple database, where we can pull both the simulation data stream and the testing data stream into the database and then compare it in Marple Insight. I think in the coming 10 years, aerospace engineering will be even more data-driven, getting even higher data volumes, higher sampling rates, and maybe also AI can play a role in there by automatically analyzing the data to predict failures early on so that we can prevent them.